A warm hug in the middle of a freezing American winter always brings an uncannily peaceful feeling. You wrap your arms around your pup, squeeze gently, and think that the two of you are sharing a wonderful connection. But the truth is not romantic at all. From the perspective of behavioral psychology, that moment is not your love, but sugar-coated selfishness. You are unconsciously redefining their emotional boundaries according to your own selfish needs. This invisible imposition may be fracturing the psychic structure of your four-legged friend. Let's begin where all of this truly started, deep within an evolutionary flow spanning tens of thousands of years. Before humans built modern cities, before we dressed our pups in warm sweaters, their ancestors survived on a primitive survival mechanism. Biologically, dogs are cursorial animals, meaning they run away when encountering danger. Their nervous system is designed to react instantly to threats by utilizing the speed of their legs. When a predator appears, their internal rhythm triggers an explosive readiness to bolt. This is not merely a habit, it is a primal instinct, the very foundation that kept their species from extinction. But look at what happens when you hug them. A hug, by human definition, is an expression of bonding and protection. Yet, to the architecture of a dog's mind, that action carries a completely opposite meaning. When you wrap your arms around their neck and hold tight, you are unconsciously stripping away their only survival weapon. You are locking down their mobility, freezing the survival reflex already hardwired into their brain. The exact moment your arms close, an emergency warning signal is sent straight to the pup's amygdala. Their nervous system immediately enters a code red alert because their physiological space has been severely violated. This relationship harbors a massive psychological asymmetry. On the human side, we feel the release of oxytocin, the hormone of happiness. But on the pup's side, their body is ambushed by cortisol, the hormone of stress. Being trapped in an inescapable space creates a psychological pressure akin to a claustrophobic person being locked in a tight box. We think we are giving warmth, but in reality, their nervous system is bracing itself through an invisible crisis. True empathy does not lie in imposing human language onto a different biological system, but in understanding their natural boundaries. Numbers rarely lie, and in this case, they tell a rather heartbreaking story about a disconnect between two species. Dr. Stanley Coren, a leading animal behavior expert at the University of British Columbia, conducted a profound analysis of 250 photographs showing people hugging their dogs. The results might startle you into realizing your own thoughtlessness. Nearly 82% of the dogs in those photos displayed at least one sign of stress, anxiety, or discomfort. Fewer than 10% appeared comfortable, while the rest remained neutral. We are living in a collective illusion, where human satisfaction is bartered for the silent endurance of our pets. This disastrous misunderstanding stems from how we misinterpret their micro-expressions. Look at the stark contrast in body language that you witness every single day. From the owner's perspective, seeing a pup lick their face mid-hug makes them instantly smile and think, "It's kissing me, it's happy." But from the reality of behavioral psychology, that constant lip-licking is actually a stress appeasement signal, an urgent plea saying, "Please, let me go." From the owner's perspective, a dog turning its head away is brushed off as it being distracted by a random noise outside. But from the perspective of brain science, that is an intentional avoidance of direct eye contact, a deliberate effort to diffuse confrontation when personal space is being forced. Take a closer look at their eyes the next time you wrap your arms around them. Owners see wide, still eyes and assume it is a sign of obedience and docility. Behavior experts see the crescent of white showing clearly, otherwise known as the whale eye effect, a stark proof that the nervous system is taut with fear. You think they are basking in your protection. The truth is they are frozen in a state of stress-induced immobility. When a pup pins its ears back, you think it is acting cute. Science proves it is trying to shrink its body for self-defense. It is not happiness. It is endurance. We have unconsciously ignored these subtle emotional boundaries just to satisfy our own selfish need for connection. You cannot build an empathetic relationship on a total blindness to the other party's pain. Looking at those facts, you might feel a little hurt, or perhaps a bit of guilt. But the purpose of understanding is not for us to stop loving, but to learn how to love in a more mature and nuanced way. We need to restore agency to the nervous system of our four-legged friends. To achieve this, animal behaviorists have designed a practical solution called the consent test. This is a process that shifts your status from a space invader to a polite communicator, strictly honoring your pet's emotional boundaries through 3 clear, reflective steps. Begin the first step with a quiet presence. You do not actively rush over, nor do you hunch over to cast a looming shadow across their body. Instead, sit down at your pup's eye level, slowly extend a hand forward, maintain an adequate distance within their safety zone, and pause. This act of pausing is a psychological invitation, a necessary silence allowing the other party to assess the situation for themselves. The second step is deep observation. You need to take about 5 to 10 seconds to read the reaction driven by their internal rhythm. A dog's consent is like a door left ajar. If they do not push it, open themselves. Do not force your way in. If the pup proactively steps forward, sniffs your hand, or gently nuzzles their head into your palm, that is a green light signaling that psychological symmetry has been established. But conversely, if they freeze, turn their face away, or take a slight step back, that is a polite refusal. The third step is the act of respecting the outcome. If they consent, you can offer a gentle hug, but always remember to leave an open physiological escape route. If they decline, you simply smile and withdraw your hand. By applying this process, you not only protect the delicate mental architecture of your pup, but also relieve the fear of accidentally hurting the creature you love, elevating this relationship into true empathy. Ultimately, the story of a hug is not merely a story about an animal's behavior. In modern society, where we tend to humanize our pets, the boundary between virtuous love and selfish imposition becomes narrower than ever. We dress them in trendy clothes, bring them into our beds, and demand that they respond to affectionate gestures in human ways. But what is the true nature of this relationship? Using the mirror technique, we are forced to look directly into our own inner selves. Pets are often just a magnifying lens, a mirror reflecting the unfilled emotional voids within you. Ask yourself these deep, self-reflective questions to redefine your own behavior. Are you truly listening to them? Or are you just looking for a tool to soothe your own loneliness? Are you hugging your dog because its body is signaling a need for protection, or because your own nervous system is exhausted after a long day of facing societal pressures? Are you respecting an independent life with its own distinct internal rhythms, or are you turning them into a breathing stuffed animal just to satisfy your sense of control? True empathy requires us to have the courage to see the emotional boundaries of the other, even when that means we must restrain our own desires. When you learn to stop before your dog's safety boundary, you do not just become a refined owner, you are learning to respect life in its fullest sense. The long-standing psychological asymmetry will be replaced by a balanced psychological symmetry, where both nervous systems find true peace without any coercion. Help this video find more dog owners who are trying to learn how to understand themselves through the creatures they love. Share it as a civilized message to the pet-loving community around you. Remember, the way you treat a dog's boundaries is not a random preference. It is the ultimate measure of the depth of your soul and the maturity of your love.